Hi, I'm Carolina. Thank you for joining me for this movement snacks session. To begin with, we're going to use our chair. So we're going to take the hold of our back of our chair and we're going to slowly walk back. So you're taking your time. And what we're looking for here is to find a little bit of a stretch in the arms, and maybe a little bit of stretch in the legs, making sure the feet are parallel, softness in the knees. So there's a bend in the knees and we're looking towards the floor. Shoulders moving away from the ears. And as with all these movements, there's no wrong or right way to do them, but there is a safe way, or a way that should not be painful, and there should be no strain. There's a sense of a stretch in the body without any pain. So if there is any pain, please do come out of the shape you've made and adjust it or make it a little gentler if you can. Slowly walking the feet in towards the chair and coming up to standing. We're going to bring the hands behind the back, so either to hold an opposite wrist or maybe you clasp the hands, gently encouraging the hands towards the floor and a little bit away from you. Gently releasing the hands. And as we come back to standing, we're going to give ourselves a hug. So taking the arms out towards the side of the body and then giving yourself a hug. I'm going to take this 3 more times, and each time trying to, if you can, to bring the opposite arm on top. If there's any tightness in the shoulders, you can bring the hands down a little bit lower and make the same shape. And releasing the hands. We'll come through a little bit of head and neck movement. So first of all, taking the right ear towards the right shoulder. That's my cat who's joined us today. Slowly coming up to center and taking the left ear towards the left shoulder. And slowly coming back to center. We're going to take our gaze towards the right hand side. So just towards the right, no further. Bringing some movement to the neck. Really important if you've been sat at a desk for a long period of time. Our neck, our head can get stuck in one position. Slowly coming back to center and taking the gaze over the left shoulder. So a lot of these movements can be done seated, sitting in a chair. But if you have been seated and you're able to stand, it's just encouraging a little bit more movement in the body. Coming back to center. And now maybe you bring a bit more movement to the spine. So as we take our gaze towards the right-hand side, you can bring a little bit more of a twist. So maybe you twist the upper body, the shoulders towards the right-hand side, making sure the knees haven't locked. So you haven't straightened the knees and the legs as much as you possibly can. There's a bend in the knees there. So we're starting to look after our spines here. Bring some movement to the spine. Coming back to center and taking the gaze towards the left-hand side. And you may find you can go a little bit further on one side than the other. That's absolutely normal. We have a habitual side, so you might be right-handed or left-handed, right-footed or left-footed. And it's often that side that feels a little bit tighter, just maybe a little gentler on that side. And slowly coming back to center. We're going to just bring a little bit of movement to the hips as well today. So I'm going to use my chair for support. It feels really nice to have that support. Welcome to come into a balance with this as well. So making sure the left foot is planted down on the floor, toes are pointing forwards. I'm going to bring my right knee up and give it a little bit of a hug. Doesn't matter where the knee comes to, it might just be here. Bringing some movement to the hips. And again, this can be done seated as well. So if you prefer to sit in a chair and bring the knee towards the chest or just up a little, creating a bit of movement in the hips, waking up the hips. If you can, still standing tall, and then we'll take the right knee out towards the right hand side. Again, it could just be a little. And slowly back to center. And we'll lower it down without coming all the way to the floor, bring some movement to the foot. So I'm pointing and flexing my right foot and bringing some circles to the foot as well. You might want to spread the toes and scrunch the toes a little. Any movement that feels good for the foot. And we'll take this on the other side. And this time I'm going to hold on to a wall just to change the position a little. So as I've got some support with the wall, I'm bringing my right knee in. Softening the shoulders away from the ears. If you're seated in chair, just making sure the left foot is very much in contact with the floor. And then you may want to take the leg out towards the side. Bring the leg back to center, gently release it wherever it is, and then we're just going to bring some movement to the foot again. So pointing and flexing, and maybe bringing some circles. Maybe you spread the toes and scrunch the toes as well. And release that leg back down. So coming back to a standing position, making sure we still have a bend in the knees, and we're going to come into a really gentle side stretch. So I'm stretching towards the right hand side, arms are relaxed. Again, bringing a little bit of a stretch around the hips, maybe you feel it further up in the body. So it's never about how far we go, it's just making sure we feel like we're getting a little bit of a stretch in the body. Coming slowly back to center and moving down towards the left hand side. And a reminder, it's going to feel very different on both sides. So one side might feel a little bit tighter than the other, and that's normal. And one final movement in our movement snack break today. We're going to take the hands in front of us, and you may want to hold an opposite wrist, or you can clasp the hands. And then we're looking towards the floor, and it's like you're trying to take the hands away from you. It's almost like we're trying to pull our shoulder blades apart. There's still a bend in the elbows. There's a bend in the knees. And slowly releasing and coming back up to center. Making sure you say thank you to yourself for taking a moment here to bring some movement to the body, support your mind and your body. Thanks for joining me today.